Freedom House Church Live. We are here this Sunday morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm sure you all have had a wonderful time in the Lord, right, with your family. So it's important that we give God thanks for family. You know, some of us have issues with our families. You know, we don't like them. They don't like us. But the key word is that they are what? Family. So we're just going to pick off where we left off. And we were talking about the life of Moses and why Moses' life was so important and how we can learn from him in our lives, right? So let's pick up where we left off on the tethering of life, bringing Moses' life together with his new family. And we're going to start at Exodus chapter 2, verse 7. This is right after his newly adopted mother, Pharaoh's daughter, who just scooped him up out of the river. She sent on assignment her handmaidens to go and fetch him, Moses, out of the river. And we're going to come on down to verse 7, Exodus chapter 2, verse 7. It says, "Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, 'Shall I go and call a nurse for you from Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you?'" Now, verse 6 is said, at verse 6, we're going to go up to verse 6 right here. "And when she opened it, she saw a child, and behold, the baby wept. So she had compassion on him and said, 'This is one of the Hebrews' children.'" So here we see the sister. His mother sent his sister along the Nile River to watch what was going to happen to Moses while he was in the ark that she created, and Moses was floating in the river. Sometimes we think in our lives that there is not a Jehovah, the one that sees, that's looking up, the God that sees. We don't think that God is watching our life, but God is watching every little detail of our lives. So Moses' sister was sent along the Nile to watch Moses. Pharaoh's daughter all of a sudden noticed something in the Nile River. She sent her handmaidens to go and see, to confirm that what she was seeing was not a threat. So once she realized that the thing that they brought back was an ark, and she opened it and it was a baby that was crying, she, what we call, neutralized the threat. Sometimes in your life, when God sends you into an environment, the first time somebody looks at you, they see you as a threat. Have you ever been in an environment where people see you as a threat? Well, why are you here? And what are you threatening? Well, you're threatening their livelihood. You're threatening their purpose. You're threatening their position. You're threatening their future. And you're just coming up in the picture, but they notice that there's something unique. They notice that there's something different about you that can jeopardize their experience. So Pharaoh's daughter was doing her own business, taking her bath. She noticed something in the distance. She wasn't sure. She sends the handmaidens. The handmaidens bring the ark, uncover the ark, and her immediate response, in spite of the baby Moses, was that he began to cry. She didn't pay any attention to his cry. Her first disclaimer was that he was a Hebrew child. When people look at your life, if you are a person of faith, the first disclaimer that they see is saying that this person is a Christian. There's something unique. There's something different about them. I don't know what it is. So here comes another person that pops up in the scene. And that was Moses' sister. The sister was on assignment to watch the baby brother in the Nile, right? So let me ask you a question. Who has been on assignment to watch your life? Has anybody in your family, a grandmother, a sister, an older brother, a cousin, Who has been a mother, a dad, an uncle, an auntie? Who is that person that's being on assignment to watch your life? It's pretty easy. That person is the person who invests in your life. That's the person that when everybody says yes, no, excuse me, that person sacrifices for you. We all have a person that's on assignment for our lives to watch out for us, whether they're close or whether they're distant. There are people that are sent out in our lives to watch out from a distance concerning who we are. So Moses' sister steps into the scene because she knew that Pharaoh's daughter was incapable of taking care of what she found. Come on now. Some people are in your life space, I'm going there, but they're not capable of taking care of you. They're not capable of nurturing you. They're not capable of doing many things. However, they may be capable of one thing, that is providing provision, providing covering, providing clothes, providing that part of your life, but they're not capable of nurturing and developing you into what you need to become, right? So here we have that environment that's not capable of doing something, and then God adds to it. You got to realize about Moses' life. His sister made sure that she told Pharaoh's daughter, I will go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew woman, that she may nurse the child for you. So Moses needed nurturing. He was a brand new baby. He was used to suckling with his mother, but Pharaoh's daughter could not do that. The handmaidens could not do that. Only a nursing mother could provide food source for a new baby in order to make sure that they have everything that they needed. We have learned in science that nursing mothers provide antigens and antibodies for the new baby that comes from the mother. But most nursing mothers are like, I don't want to endure it. I don't want to go through it. Just give me the milk and that is it, and I will be good. And they have an option, right? So Pharaoh's daughter had an option. She really did. She, with her power and her influence, she could have got anybody to nurture Moses when she first found him with the care that he needed. But the assignment was for the sister to be the one to redirect him to where he needed to be. God will send people that will redirect you to where you need to be in your life. They're walking alongside your life, watching. They're walking alongside your life, seeing where you need to be because God has sent them alongside your life. Thank God for my apostle. Thank God for my bishop, because they walk and they know exactly what I need because I have journeyed with them. When I'm lacking, needed help with my children, when I needed help financially, when sometimes I had to ask, but they were there to make sure that I was nurtured and what I needed. So the Pharaoh's daughter knew that the baby needed to be nurturing, and the sister just showed up and happenstance to take him. She said, I know a Hebrew woman. Doesn't that sound weird to you? That this girl just steps up, the sister, but listen, Pharaoh's daughter wasn't even clocking what was going on. All she knew was that she had a situation and she needed help, and she went back to the very source that put him in the Nile River. Y'all better listen to what I'm trying to tell you today. Some of you have jumped boat from your family. Some of you have excommunicated yourself. They've excommunicated you. Sometimes your family, were in dire straits. They gave you away. There are all types of things that have happened in the family dynamics. There are so many broken things in the family dynamics. Get this. But right when you jump out of the family, God sends things to keep you connected to the family. Why? Because we know that Moses was going to rise up to save his family. Y'all listen to what I'm saying. So the very one that's put in the ark, the very one that's put out in the boat, the very one that's excommunicated in the family, the very one that's called the black sheep, the very one that has been, left to do things by themselves, figure it out by themselves, that very one is the one that God is going to send and has sent to nurture, develop in order to what? Bring and raise and help and deliver the family. That is how it works, y'all. I'm just letting you know every Bible story that you have read. Come on now, from Moses to Joseph. Come on now, we can go on throughout the Bible. God raised them up to be a blessing to their family. And get this, the family was the one that kicked them out of the family boat. Now, this is the way God is going this morning. Now, some of you have been kicked out of the family boat. Why am I saying this? Because Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is always a shaky time for people. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Why? Because Thanksgiving forces people to center around the family dynamic. So when people are ostracized and when people don't feel connected or have been not in contact with their family, they tend to gravitate or connect to what we call surrogate families. They call it Friendsgiving, people from their job. It ain't like it used to be. It isn't, because the family dynamics have been affected by a lot of things: persecution, poverty, abuse. The family dynamic has crumbled from the original intent. But here we see in Exodus chapter 2 verse 7 that God sent somebody in from the family dynamic to keep a watchful eye. There's somebody that's prayed for you. There's somebody that's praying for you. There's somebody that needs you. There's somebody that wants you. There's somebody in your family that cares. There's somebody that's wondering what's your life gonna look like, because it is a contingency plan that you made. It was a contingency plan that God had that Moses make it. Why did Moses have to make it? Because God had a purpose and a plan and destiny for his life. Come on now, to sit on a throne and be a leader. God already has a contingency plan for your life of perfection. God has a contingency plan for you to become and be, come on now, what you need to become and be in order for you to be the one. Yes. In order for you to be the one. I'm the one. Yes. And you need to think of yourself as that. Well, I'm the one. You have to lead that family, because that family don't think right. You have to lead that family, because that family's got a hit on them from Satan. For now, come on now. You have to be the one that had to be raised partly in an orphanage or a home because somebody needed to adopt you that could make sure you got an education and not grow up in the hood or grow up, come on now, with the dynamics where people are on meth and drugs, because you would have been another statistic. And God said, no. I'm going to send somebody to watch you and make sure that you get what you need, even though you're in a different environment. Moses was in a priestly environment. He was in an Egyptian environment. Moses was not in his Hebrew environment, where he was going to be raised to know God and what God was all about, serve God, right? But all of that was not going to get his people out of slavery. He would have been another Hebrew child that grew up in bondage in slavery. But God looked through the bloodline and said, who can I find? Who can I save? Who can I grow? Who can I build to be able to be an example for the family, to be able to lead the family out of bondage? See, we know the end of the story, because Moses was the one that was able to lead the family out of bondage. But Moses couldn't lead his family just growing up out of bondage, working for Ra. He couldn't do that. He had to have influence. He had to have power. He had to have education. He had to have finance. Come on now. Y'all, he had to be in a leadership mindset. Do you know what kind of mindset you got to have to be out of slavery? Oh my God. It takes quite a mindset to break from a poverty mindset. It takes a mindset to break from I'll never be, I'll never become, this is all you can do. It takes a powerful mindset, all right? It takes an aristocrat mindset to always feel like you're on the top, regardless of the obstacle. It takes an invincible mindset to think about, hey, no, nothing's too hard for me. I am who I am. There's no problem that I cannot get through. And Moses needed that. He could not get that in the Hebrew lifestyle of being enslaved, come on now, working for Pharaoh. So God will add to you. He will have you always be balanced with nurturing of what you need, nurturing and power. Come on now, nurturing and influence, nurturing. God will always give you a dichotomy of what is needed. Let me show this diagram for you. You have Moses, then you have him as a Hebrew child. Then you have Moses, the same Moses, come on now, and then you have him as a son of Pharaoh. My God. How can bondage and peace coincide? Come on now. How can... Y'all listen to what I'm saying. The very obstacle that was going to be that was a hindrance to the Hebrew. Remember, Pharaoh's father sent out an edict to kill all of the Hebrew children because he got a message that this Christ was going to come through the bloodline. The Savior was going to take all his slaves from him, and he can no longer build his Egypt, his city. Y'all better listen to what I'm saying. So God sent Moses into the camp of Pharaoh. Come on now. To get all the wisdom, get all the knowledge, get all the expertise, get all the talent, get all the mercy and grace and favor, because Moses was Pharaoh's son, being raised as a son of Pharaoh. So he had influence as a king, a prince, if you will. But inside of him was the struggle that he knew that he was Hebrew. Now, there is what we call a weaning process for a child to be weaned off of their mother's care, breast milk, if you will. So he had to be nurtured by the nurse, which was his mother, the nursemaid, the one that would feed him, right, and take care of him. So his mother, I believe, was like singing all them Hebrew songs, letting him know that Jehovah is your king. Come on now. And he grew like, one or two, and don't get twisted. When a nurse raises a child in Pharaoh's court, because the nurse had to come to Pharaoh's court. When his mother went to Pharaoh's court, that relationship never stopped. Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. So as Moses grew, there was a conflict of interest. He knew who he was. He knew who he was. Come on now. But yet still, he had to live like somebody else. You know who you are in Christ. Your grandmother raised you. Somebody raised you. Somebody along the way introduced you to who Christ is. Even if you didn't commit to him, you know who he is, right? So knowing who he is, but yet still having the conflict of life is a paradoxical thing that drives us crazy as people of faith. When did Moses decide that he was not going to live as a prince of the house of Pharaoh? When he made a mistake. Sometimes only when we make a mistake do we realize who we really are. Come on now, because our mistake does not dictate who we are. That's for somebody today. Your mistake doesn't dictate who you are. Moses, we know in his life, he ran away, right? Because of the mistake. So verse 8, and Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. So the maiden went and called the child's mother. The very thing that he was running away from came right to him, right? Verse 9, then Pharaoh's daughter said to her, take this child away and nurse him for me. So, you know, she went and sent for the Hebrew son, Moses' mother, to come to the court. So she says, take him and go nurse him. But that was the son of the house, so he couldn't go too far. The Pharaoh's daughter was not going to send him all the way back to the village to nurse. Because she knew that the Hebrew people did not like Pharaoh himself because he kept the people enslaved. So sometimes God will send you to the very place that you don't think you should be a part of. God will send you to a very place where you have discredited yourself, where you feel like you don't belong. You belong there. You belong right there on that executive job. You belong right there in them people's school. You belong right there in that high echelon where you are. You feel like you don't fit in because they try to make you feel like you don't fit in. Come on now. Christ will always make room for you wherever you are, and whatever you're functioning in, Christ will always be there for you. The Hebrew teaching was the one that gave him the strength. Come on now. To endure all of the rigmarole. Don't think it wasn't a process to be in Pharaoh's house. There was a process. Every home has conflict in the family. There was conflict in the family, right? Pharaoh had sons. Pharaoh had wives. Pharaoh's, she was the daughter, but there was conflict and power struggle within the house of Pharaoh. But God sent him to, I call it the enemy's camp. God sent this little boy to be raised in there, come on now, so that he will know the ways in order to be the deliverer of the very people that had an edict to be destroyed. Verse 9, then Pharaoh's daughter said to her, take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages. And got paid for it, y'all. She got paid to do the very thing, come on now.
Yes.
That was going to break her heart. She had, I mean, this story is just like unbelievable for me. When God starts doing his godly strategic planning, destiny routing, and trailblazing for your life, God has it figured out. Somebody needs to know that today. God has it figured out for you. That includes your mistakes. That includes all of the things that you're thinking God hasn't made out for you. I don't know the chances of that. Putting by faith your child into a position by faith. Come on now. I can't do this. I just don't want him to die by faith. Put him in a Nile River in just a ark, a little boat, a covering. Don't know if it's going to sink or if it's going to sail. Happenstance to be going down the Nile River. Pharaoh's daughter happens to be bathing there. Her handmaidens didn't see the ark. She saw the ark. They weren't on their guard. They were one focus, trying to protect her. But she looked and she saw in the red something that was different. That means she was on guard, protecting and always looking for her own self, her own safety. Come on now. See the ark. Tell them to come get the ark. Bring it to her. She opens it. Immediately, she identified, oh, that's a Hebrew. I've got to struggle now with my family, with my daddy, and this baby boy that I know is a Hebrew, where my dad has sent out an edict to kill all the Hebrew. So how am I going to disguise it in order to bring this baby that I love? I just fell in love with it into a house where I know my father don't want it. Wanted to be in there, and my original father's intent was to kill every Hebrew child. So that tells me that she had influence with her daddy. So she goes and then she hires by the word of a child that happens to pop up in the necessity base on the banks of the river. The Bible